So you have got dozens of heroes sitting in your roster. But when the arena gate opens, you can only bring 5. 5 heroes. That is it. And if you pick the wrong 5, it does not matter how strong your account is. You are getting stomped by players half your power who simply know what they are doing. I see it every single day on my server. Players with massive rosters, huge investments, getting absolutely destroyed in arena by smaller accounts running the right formation. And then they hop into Alliance chat asking what went wrong. What went wrong is they never learned how team composition actually works in this game. Today, I am giving you the complete Generation 1 Arena and Conquest tier list for Kingshot. I am telling you exactly which heroes belong together, who goes frontline, who goes backline, and why certain combinations are borderline unfair while others just fall apart. And if you stick around to the end, I have got a formation trick that most players will not figure out on their own for months. What is up, everyone? This is Bull OP Strategy, and welcome back to the channel. Now, before we dive into the tier list, I need to set some ground rules so nobody gets confused. Rule number 1. This tier list assumes a roughly equal level of investment across the heroes I am showing. That means similar star levels, similar widget progress, similar gear. Obviously, if you have a 5-star maxed out hero from an older generation, it is probably going to outperform a brand new hero sitting at 1 star with 0 widgets. Use common sense there. The tier list shows you the ceiling of each formation when the heroes are built equally. Rule number 2. I am specifying frontline versus backline for every formation, but I am not locking in left versus right positioning. That part is flexible, and honestly, you should be adjusting it based on who you are fighting. Positioning against an Amadeus team is different from positioning against a Jabel team. Small adjustments like sliding your tank 1 spot over can completely change whether you win or lose a close matchup. Experiment with this. Rule number 3. This is a formation tier list, not an individual hero breakdown. I am not going deep into every single ability and skill interaction for each hero here. If you want that level of detail, I have individual hero review videos on the channel. Go check those out. And rule number 4, and this one is important, so listen carefully. Expedition mode should still be your primary driver when deciding which heroes to build. Expedition is responsible for the vast majority of your return on hero investment. The resources, the gear, the daily rewards, all of that comes from Expedition content. If you start building heroes purely for Arena and Conquest while ignoring their Expedition value, you are letting the tail wag the dog. Your whole account suffers. Arena matters. Conquest matters. But Expedition is the engine that fuels everything. All right, ground rules covered. Let us get into the tier list starting at the top. S tier. The formations that dominate when built properly. There is no way around this. To reach S tier in Generation 1, you need both Helga and Amadeus. Period. These 2 heroes together create a foundation that no other combination in Gen 1 can match. Helga brings crowd control with her stun, frontline durability, and disruption that buys your team time. Amadeus brings devastating damage output that scales with his health pool. And that health scaling mechanic is exactly why Amadeus belongs in the back line, not the front. I see players throwing Amadeus on the front line constantly, and it drives me crazy. His entire damage kit revolves around having high health. If he is tanking hits on the front line, his health drops, his damage drops, and now you have a mediocre tank who deals mediocre damage. Worst of both worlds. Put him in the back where he stays healthy and hits like a truck. Your S-tier formation looks like this. Frontline, Howard and Helga. Backline, Amadeus, plus your best remaining damage dealers. Howard holds the wall with his tankiness and knockback. Helga disrupts and stuns. Amadeus rains down punishment from safety. This formation wins fights it statistically should not win because the synergy between these 3 heroes is that strong. Now, there is an alternative S-tier setup worth mentioning. You can occasionally swap Howard out for Saul on the front line alongside Helga. Why does this work? Because Saul brings his own armor boost that makes him surprisingly tanky, and Helga's stun provides enough crowd control to cover for the slightly less durable front line. This opens up a backline slot where you can run someone like Yanwu for additional area of effect damage. If you are hitting a wall in Conquest where the standard formation just is not breaking through, try this version. The extra burst damage from the backline can crack open stages that feel impossible otherwise. It also performs surprisingly well in Arena against certain defensive setups where you just need to kill things faster than they can kill you. A tier. Strong formations that are missing one key piece. A tier is essentially Helga without Amadeus. If you have Helga built but have not pulled or invested in Amadeus yet, you are still in a very strong position, just not quite at the peak. Your A-tier formation puts Howard and Helga on the front line. Same concept as S-tier, Howard tanks, Helga disrupts. The difference is your backline. Without Amadeus, you fill those remaining spots with area of effect damage dealers. Jabel is an excellent pick here. Chenko with her burst fire cone can devastate grouped enemies when the targeting cooperates. Yanwu provides solid area damage as well. And here is a situational tip that can steal you wins you have no business getting. If you are facing an opponent who carelessly placed their Amadeus on the front line, consider slotting Quinn into your formation. Quinn's headshot ability deals massive single-target burst damage. Against a frontline Amadeus who is already taking hits and losing health, Quinn can delete him before he ever gets his ability off. That one substitution can turn a loss into a win against specific opponents. Now, you might be wondering if some formations with both Helga and Amadeus could technically fit in a tier. Technically, yes. If you are running Amadeus on the front line with Helga, that formation is closer to A tier than S tier because you are wasting Amadeus's damage potential. But if you have both heroes, there is genuinely no reason not to run the S tier setup. Just move Amadeus to the back. Problem solved. Free upgrade. B tier. The free-to-play workhorse formations. This is where most players are going to live for a while, and honestly, these formations can carry you further than you might expect. B-tier formations are built around Jabel plus your purple and blue heroes. No Helga. No Amadeus. Just smart use of what the game gives you for free. Frontline, I recommend Seth over Gordon. Now, I know Gordon has a healing ability that sounds appealing for the front line, but when you actually run the math, his heal does not add enough survivability to justify his lower health pool. Seth simply has a bigger health pool and takes more hits before going down. That extra time alive for your front line is worth more than Gordon's heal in almost every scenario. Actually, here is something most players never consider. Chenko can function as a frontline tank in B-tier formations. Her 70% armor bonus makes her surprisingly durable. More durable than Gordon in practice. If you need a tougher front line and you do not have better options, try Chenko up front. It sounds unconventional, but it works. Your backline in B tier should focus on area of effect damage. Diana is going to be one of your fastest growing heroes because her shards are the easiest to obtain in the entire purple tier. Put her in the back and let her incendiary arrows clear groups. Pair her with Jabel for additional damage coverage, and you have a formation that punches above its weight. Now, a quick note on Saul in B tier. I do not have him listed in these formations because Generation 1 is so short that building Saul to an equal level as these other heroes typically requires some spending. If you have spent enough to build Saul, you probably also have access to Helga, which bumps you into a tier or higher. However, if you are a light spender who put shards into Saul specifically and he is reasonably built, he absolutely has a place here. You can substitute him for Quinn as a superior single-target damage dealer who also brings a stun. Or you can drop him onto the front line instead of Seth. If Saul has investment in his widget levels, he becomes beefier than Seth up front and provides more utility. Either substitution is a legitimate upgrade within B tier. C tier. The starter formations for your first 2 weeks. I am including this tier because everyone passes through it, but nobody should stay here longer than they absolutely have to. C tier is your first week heroes, the ones whose shards drop fastest at the very beginning. Blue heroes, early purple heroes, whoever the game hands you in those initial days. These formations serve one purpose: clearing early Conquest stages quickly so you can start building passive income from Conquest rewards as soon as possible. They work for that job. They do not work for anything beyond that. The moment you have enough shards and investment to build a B-tier formation, switch immediately. Every day you spend in C-tier when you could be in B-tier is a day you are leaving arena coins, Conquest rewards, and progression on the table. Now, let me give you some formation tips that apply across every single tier. First, pay attention to what your opponent is running before you finalize your lineup. Arena lets you see the enemy formation before you fight. Use that information. If they have a glass cannon in an exposed position, consider slotting in a single target burst hero to eliminate them early. If they are running a heavy front line with tanks, load up on area damage to wear them down. Reacting to your opponent is what separates good arena players from great ones. Second, do not ignore widget investment for your arena heroes. Widgets are a massive stat boost that compounds with everything else. A 3-star hero with maxed widgets will outperform a 4-star hero with 0 widgets in most situations. If you have committed to a formation, commit to the widgets for those heroes too. Third, revisit your formation every time you unlock a new hero or significantly upgrade an existing one. Your optimal lineup at 2 weeks into the game is completely different from your optimal lineup at 60 days. Do not get comfortable. Keep evaluating. And finally, here is the trick I promised at the beginning. In Arena specifically, your defensive formation and your offensive formation do not have to be the same. Set your defensive formation to whatever gives opponents the hardest time, then manually adjust your offensive formation every single fight based on who you are attacking. Most players set one formation and leave it forever. The players who adjust per matchup climb significantly faster in rankings with the exact same heroes and investment. All right, let me do the rapid-fire recap. S tier requires Helga and Amadeus. Put Amadeus in the backline always. Pair with Howard or occasionally Saul up front. A tier is Helga without Amadeus. Fill backline with area damage dealers. Use Quinn situationally against exposed targets. B tier is Jabel plus purple and blue heroes. Use Seth or Chenko over Gordon on front line. Load up on area damage and back. C tier is your starter formation for week 1 and 2. Get out of it as fast as you possibly can. If this tier list helped you figure out your arena formation, crush that like button. It genuinely helps the channel grow and reach more Kingshot players who need this information. If you are new here and you want tier lists, hero guides, and strategy breakdowns every single week, subscribe and hit the bell. And drop a comment below telling me what formation you are currently running. I want to know where everyone stands so I can make the next generation tier list even more useful for you. This is Bull OP Strategy signing off. See you in the next one.